Let's go into the Zoom room right now where our buddy Landon Aydlett with the National Weather Service has our weather work week forecast. Landon, good morning, man.
Hey, good morning. How are y'all?
We're doing all right, man. Very good to see you.
Good to hear you. And I hope y'all hear me fine. I'm having some technical problems on my end. I think the audio should be working now. So
Now
hope
you're
it's
coming in 5 by 5, man. You're good.
okay, good. Well, there's for us in the local region in the Marianas, it's not bad this morning, but there are a few things to talk about that we've not been discussing too much in the last couple of months. And I'll get to that shortly. But I'm going to flip my camera around before we go to the slides, Jason.
Right on.
And I just want to bring this up. We're going to be putting more information about this on our Facebook page probably later this week, early next week. This is a reminder of where we were February 2 years ago, 2019. This was Typhoon Wu-Tip that developed in eastern and central Micronesia as a disturbance, bringing lots of wind and rain to the outer islands of Pohnpei and Chuuk states. And then that came up and developed into what became a super typhoon as it tracked near Guam and passed to our southwest. So again, it's February, it's the dry season, but it's not out of the question to have tropical weather. And we're going to discuss the tropical weather very shortly in this presentation. For us in the region, not much to be concerned about. It's full-blown, windy, dry season continuing, and that's perfectly normal for this time of the year, and that's going to continue for the next several months. So across Guam and the Sinai, not much to speak of, just a mid and upper level cloudiness, just a spotty showers at Saipan and Tinian, but otherwise it's going to be dry across Rota and Guam through today. We're going to widen up this picture here, and you see all those colors down there in Micronesia near Yap and Palau. This is a tropical disturbance trying to get its act together. It's centered just south of the bulk of the deep convection, that low-level circulation. I'll be discussing that shortly. All this deeper convection, the showers, the thunderstorms, that's moving over Yap State, and eventually that's going to go towards Yap and Palau. Is it a threat for Guam? It is not a threat for us. That's the big question everybody wants to know. Is it going to be affecting our weather? It will not. It's across Western Micronesia, and it's going to be moving toward the west. Elsewhere across Micronesia, dry season is large and in charge with these trade winds pushing across north of eastern Micronesia, and then we have the ITCZ generating the showers and thunderstorms across Kosrae, Pohnpei, and Chuuk. Again, the drought conditions persist down south in Kapinga-Maringi. They're very short on rainfall down there on the small atoll, with about 200 people living down there on that small isolated island that's in far southern Pohnpei State. So we're continuing issuing drought information statements. We'll be putting out the newest statement later this week, updating conditions, especially across the Northern Marshall Islands and the Sinai, as drought conditions start to have more of a grasp across the region as we proceed through the dry season months. So let's go ahead and switch over to the slides, Jason.
Yep.
And we're going to go right into our weekly weather outlook. The current headlines across the region: moderate risk of rip currents. It's actually pretty tame out there across the waters, across the Marianas this morning, which is the good news. The fire danger is currently high for Guam, and it will continue to increase as our rainfall totals on a daily basis.
Yeah, our friends at GFD were out a lot
average.
this weekend.
Say that again, Jason?
Yeah, our friends at the fire department, they responded to like at least 3 fires that we know of.
Okay, yeah, that's going to be the trend in the coming weeks and months as our rains remain minimal. Every little shower that we get, that will help, but I don't see much in the way of showers this week other than just light passing showers. Across Micronesia, surf and sea advisories persist, and I need to fix that small craft advisory in Micronesia. I miss that every time. And the drought information, we continue to issue that. Next slide. I'm doing this one first. This is the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, zooming in on 91W. That is our disturbance. It was upgraded from a low area of development to a medium overnight, and that could be upgraded to a high area of development, which will be a tropical cyclone formation alert. That could be coming sometime today, and if that does happen, we'll be communicating that. And again, it's no threat for Guam and the Sinai, but it will be something that folks in Yap, Palau, and all the outer islands will have to watch out for. One of our sister offices in Yap, one of the forecasters down there is supposed to be flying to Waliai, which is pretty much south of Guam, but it's part of the Yap state. Supposed to fly there today and then take a sailboat to several outer islands and do some outreach. But I think that trip has been delayed because of heavy rains, and the runway at Waliai, the strip, has been flooded due to the rainwaters. So they're going to hopefully make that flight on Thursday.
Yeah, and so Landon, for people that might just be tuning in or they're just scrolling on Facebook right now, so that formation is something that you're keeping an eye on, but that is well southwest of us for people looking at the map right now, right?
That is correct. That's well to our southwest, and it's currently centered about 6.7139 east. So it's well to our southwest, and this will be something for Yap and Palau to watch out for. In the next slide, this is our Facebook post from Sunday morning showing that developing circulation. So this is the latest Facebook post we have on our page. That'll probably be updated later this morning. But again, that just shows that disturbance going toward Yap and Palau. The next slide, this is the scatterometry showing the winds, the sea surface. I've zoomed in on the Yap and Palau region showing that circulation. Some of the key things to note in this imagery are the weaker winds that are to the south, southwest, and west of that circulation over Palau, but the stronger winds are to the north of that center of circulation over Yap and then on toward the northeast. That's where you have the stronger pressure gradient with the high pressure well to the north and the trade winds all packing in behind that. So to the south, westerly winds, and then you have some stronger westerly winds well to the south toward the equator. And then on the right side, this is a zoomed in picture of the boxed area to the left, showing that circulation just about 6 north and just west of 140 east longitude. And again, that's tracking generally toward the west, and it should pass south of Yap and Nulu, which is the outer island just south of Yap, and the picture on the right. So the next slide, current conditions across Guam and Sinai, east winds, light around 9 miles per hour, mostly clear skies and dry. Current temperature is 79 degrees. Balmy morning as usual. The rainfall yesterday was a trace of rain. Since January 1st, we are below normal with only 4.87 inches for the year. Normally, we're approaching 7.5 inches. We're going to see that trend continue at least for the next 2 weeks with no major rain events in store for us. The next slide shows the broader region of the scatterometry, the polar orbiting data showing the sea surface winds, and all to our east, those are the trade winds. We have the greens, there's a 15 to 20 knot winds over the ocean, and the yellows are 20 to 25 knot winds. That's all going to be maintaining our trade wind swell in the coming days. But if we look to the north on the next slide, this is zoomed in on Japan and Korea. We have a powerful storm system coming off of Japan overnight. The winds behind that, that's going to be generating another set of north swell that will probably arrive to Guam and the Sinai beginning Friday and Saturday, Sunday. So there's a possibility we could see hazardous surf along north-facing reefs again this weekend. More on that in the days to come on our webpage, weather.gov/gum, as this develops. So the next slide, this is our Vitidian buoy. Again, the purple, those are the forecast wave heights, and the green is the observed. So we're still running above the forecast guidance. Combined seas this morning are 7 to 9 feet, just shy of small craft advisory, with the east swell at 4 to 6 foot, that's trade wind, and the north swell at 5 feet. That north swell will be declining in the coming days, but then we're going to see a north swell pump back in across the region Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And most of the energy this morning, that is from just east of north and from due east. Next slide, the drought situation. We're starting to see these colors, abnormally dry conditions, moderate drought, starting to creep into the region from north to south. For us locally, that's Saipan, Tinian, and Rota, and then across Micronesia, Fananu, and Chuuk State, and then the Marshall Islands, and then Kaping and Maringi still in extreme drought. We're going to see these conditions pretty much remain unchanged in the next couple of weeks, possibly worsen as the rainfall remains well suppressed to the south. That disturbance for Palau and Yap, that will maintain showers for Palau and Yap that will mitigate their drought risk. For the week ahead, today mostly sunny, slight chance of showers. East winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Combined seas 7 to 9 feet up on the open waters. East winds 15 knots. In the surf, moderate risk of rip currents 6 to 8 feet along east-facing reefs and 5 to 7 feet along north-facing reefs. Midweek, we're going to see seas and surf decline just a little bit, still with partly cloudy skies, but we can see periods of more clouds and spotty showers from time to time, but not a all-day rain and cloud event. We're definitely not seeing that action for at least several more weeks. Combined seas will fall between 5 and 7 feet Wednesday and Thursday, and then we're going to see that north swell pump in again for the weekend, with winds still about east at 10 to 20 miles per hour and partly cloudy skies. So again, on the last slide, join the Weather Ready Nation. If your organization is not partnered up with the Weather Service, join us where you can find out about our outreach events once we do resume those again, once COVID allows. Join with the Weather Ready Nation and get access to email alerts when we have significant weather threats in the region. And also you can have direct contact with us at the Weather Service for any of your questions you may ever have. And that's all I've got for you all this morning.
All right. Hey, Landon, I live my life through the lens of movies, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I've always wondered, I'm sure you've been asked this before, right? But I've kind of always wondered ever since I was a kid, growing up on Guam, we always get these, every few years we get typhoons, we get like really, really bad typhoons, and our friends in the States, they get, hurricanes and things like that. Is it at all possible that somebody, people from your agency, the military and everything, when they see that a storm is forming out on the water and they project it is going to be pretty bad, could they not like set off some depth charge underneath it or electromagnetic something or somehow make like a countermeasure to...
Sorry about my friend, Landon.
No, I've always wondered that. Is that even, does that even make scientific
sense? That's
sense?
like when the asteroids come and they shoot a nuke at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've just always wondered because, does that even make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. And there's actually been a lot of interest in weather modification. That's above my pay grade, so I was never much into the modification and weather engineering. But I know through the years, there's been a lot of interest in like cloud seeding, trying to generate the cloud condensation nuclei to form those clouds that would eventually drop rain over like barren lands in the Midwest when there's drought conditions.
Oh, okay.
It was never really good results. And I know people have toyed with the idea of dropping a nuclear bomb into a tropical cyclone to break it apart. But I think the risk and the impacts would be far worse than the actual storm itself.
We do weather modification here. If you want it to rain, wash your car.
Yeah, that's about it. If I get on a motorcycle, usually that generates the showers every time.
Let me ask you this, Landon, a little more in your lane. What causes the beautiful colors that we see during sunset on Guam?
Yeah, the sunsets. When we have upper level clouds, and let me flip the camera around. When we have the moisture in the upper atmosphere, as the sun sets, that sunlight has to go through more of the atmosphere, which can actually bend the light and cause different hues of cloud colors to shine. So right now, there's not much clouds across our region, but when you have the mid and upper level clouds, like what you see down here across Yap State, those clouds will add to the color with the moisture particles in the atmosphere. Also pollution, smog, and volcanic ash and aerosols can actually enhance the cloud colors as well.
Right.
Some of our most colorful sunsets are when we have that smog and the aerosols from the volcanoes, either from Hawaii or from the wildfire smokes in New Guinea and Indonesia, which in the right wind patterns can make their way across the Mariana Islands. That'll give us very fiery red, sometimes more of a lavender sky color.
Wow.
And so that's when we get those colorful skies. Anytime you have deep convection at sunrise or sunset, that sunlight travels through those clouds and it enhances the colors.
Isn't that ironic that pollution contributes to the awesome sunsets that we see here?
Mm.
Yeah, so anything that's in the sky that can alter the direct light, that can have a coloring effect.
There you go. You learn something new every day, guys.
Yeah, well, hopefully, maybe Landon will get you when we get you on next week and everything like that. We'll spend a couple minutes talking about double rainbows and really cool things like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the rainbows are awesome. especially with the convection that goes along with them sometimes.
Right on.
Yeah, see, dude.
Roy G. Biv, guys. Roy G. Biv.
He quite literally blinds us with science.
There you go. Thanks, Landon.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay. There.